Hey guys, it's a good week for me. I had a big week last week. This week I worked Sunday. I worked yesterday, and I got a job Friday already lined up, so that's pretty cool. I had some other stuff I got to do on the 28th as well, so I'm able to take care of my business. I want to talk for a minute about Bernie Sanders and the socialist stuff, people knocking on him and all that. Let's talk about this for a second. Fox News wants to know why the kids are hooked on socialism, why they like socialism. Well, let's get into it. This is another example of how you can fool yourself, but you can't fool everybody. I think a lot of people, young people like myself, are really frustrated. We're at a system that's just not listening. We're living in a system that's just not listening. Just like John Mayer talks about, they say, we stand for nothing. There's no way we ever could. That's lies. We do stand for something. We stand for equality. We stand for dealing with climate change. We stand for a lot of those issues. And it's interesting when I read, it's a church militant, other conservatives that are just, they're the climate cult and all that. So you're knocking on us because we care about our environment. We care about our future. We're looking at these forever chemicals in the water that they're finding. That's why I say these people, they think the world's going to end in 10 minutes. So they don't care. And I just think that with Trump, there's this Dr. Strangelovian idea of seeking destruction. That to me is the Trump supporters. They want to hear America is as great as it always was, and they want to seek destruction. And they're seeking out a history that wasn't real. I read something today. This lady was talking about how she missed the 70s and 80s. People weren't offended, and people were like, "Yeah, people were offended. They just couldn't say anything." Oh, they were. Oh no, people were offended of blacks, of Jews, of Asians. Yeah, you had people that were offended because they had the power. You had offense. And the people that were being disrespected weren't able to say anything. And it's so interesting because it just shows you how white people live in this reality that's just not real. Even people that lived back then know that's just not real. You want to go back to a time where it was legal to discriminate against people. You want to go back to a time where there was no harassment laws. There were no discrimination laws, and homophobia was rampant. You want to go back to that. It's like, wow, that's the Trump. Even when they don't say they're Trump supporters, this is the ideology they have. It's an ideology that's not real. It's not based upon anything tangible. It's a subjective view of the past. It's not real. I just think that Bernie Sanders I'm talking about his popularity, is the accumulation of a lot of people who are really frustrated with this government. They thought Obama would change things, and he didn't. He did not. We're at war with like 4 countries right now. We're getting ready to start another war. A lot of people are really frustrated because as long as we're engaging in these wars, we can't even talk about climate change. We're about to face a pandemic in a second, and they won't even call it that. People are really frustrated. I mean, all the protests of the Iraq War, all the protests about other stuff that were going on back in the day. I think the repression you've seen of protests and all that, I think that has accumulated into the support for Bernie Sanders. Whereas I just think that if you hadn't been at war for this long, you hadn't had this heavy-handed police presence at every protest, heavy-handed police brutality, the RNC in New York years ago, and the other ones we can talk about. If you didn't have that kind of stuff, I don't think Bernie is a idea whose time has come. We're all ideas. I could die right now. He could die tomorrow. We could all die. I could be wiped out with everybody in this building. It wouldn't even be outrage. Okay? But an idea, this time has come, you can't suppress that. You can't. It's not possible. I think that it's just like with WikiLeaks and all that. If you're living in a society and you're looking at the Iraq War, and you're looking at Afghanistan, you're like, damn, and you read the Afghan war document where he lied to us. 3 presidencies, lied. And you start to realize that this country is a runaway freight train. And if you realize that, it's a good chance you're like, hey, we got to do something about it. Something radical. That's Bernie Sanders. Whether you agree with everything he's saying is irrelevant. It's completely irrelevant. I'm simply speaking on why the young people are so excited by him. Is it because we don't want to work? That's bullshit. And I was just looking at Cedar Post, thinking about that. I was hanging my clothes up in the closet. No, these are the guys that the police are trying to weed out, the racists, the homophobic. Like, these are, like, you're the reason for the body cameras. You're the reason for these things. You know what I mean? You're it, and you're mad because you know that. That's why you're out there talking about the majors, and then you want to talk about some black major I don't even know, and you attack her as a way to insult me because we're both black. Like, wow. Like, this is how detached these guys are from reality. That your way of insulting me as a black man is to insult a black superior in your department, who I guess is a homosexual, and that's your way of attacking me. I don't know Major Pearsall. I've never met her in my life. I don't know where she lives. She might be from Charlotte. But that's your way of attacking me, is to attack her. I mean, it's funny almost. As much as it's sad. I mean, that's sad to me. Like, you're not supposed to even be talking about those people to me. I'm a civilian. I'm not a member of your department. I'm not a police officer. I mean, that's out of pocket. Getting off subject. I just feel...
Priority 1 message from Starfleet coming in.
I just feel like, honest to God, that is Bernie Sanders. That's his power. I think that that's more important than the socialist. I think that he needs to double down on that. On just, hey, America is really fucked up, and we're taking a path towards destruction, and we've got to do something to avert that. And you got climate change thing, you got ecological, it's a lot of stuff there. I was thinking about something a little while ago, changing the subject. It's a Resident Evil series. It's about a corporation called Umbrella. Without going too deep into it, they make biological diseases. It gets out zombies. And I'm wondering if that's almost like a parallel to what's going on with the Wuhan thing, with coronavirus. That this is something they're working on, they got out. It's I guess it's another example of art imitating life, or life imitating art. We know a lot of these movies and stuff are based off of stuff that's already going on. It's like Gattaca. They're doing that now. Genetic designer babies. Resident Evil was still working on chemical biological weapons, and then got out. Well, that's not precisely what happened, but they had to go in there, and there was zombies and monsters. A little different. This thing is a bioweapon. I'm pretty sure the temperatures going up for spring is not going to stop it. I just, my dad had a little argument on that, and I just feel like that's just such a cop out to just say that, it's going to go away. Like, it's just, this should scare people. Even if it's just like SARS, it mutates and it kills itself off. People should realize that there's going to be a big one eventually. You've got people in government getting sick. This is serious business. People are closing borders. This is serious. And, and I know why Trump said that about spring. That's where my dad's getting it from. Because they don't want to scare the markets. They don't want to have that'll hurt his chance of re-election. In a way, I would feel for Trump. I would, because it's not necessarily his fault this is going on. It's just a blowhard, dude. I'm just not even going to talk about that. He's just an asshole, man. He deserves everything he gets. I mean, but an ordinary president, if a pandemic happens, a natural disaster happens, it's not their fault. But with climate change and all that, denial of that doesn't help these things. It doesn't, Anyway, peace.